Okay, we're going to start off our Algebra 2, Unit 1, first lesson. So we're going to talk about graphs of linear functions. Okay, the parent function of a linear equation is f of x equals x, or just y equals x. That is graph. All parents will start at the origin, and they'll use the ordered pair 1, 1. In this one, if you go back and remember your Algebra 1 days of y equals mx plus b, the m here is 1 because there's an understood 1 in front of the x. And then there is nothing added or subtracted, so we know that our b value is 0. So we're going to go back to something you already know. And so this is up 1 over 1. So up 1 to the right 1 is positive. Down 1 to the left 1 also keeps the line positive. And these are all the points that fit in this graph. And we put arrows at the end because that implies that it goes on infinitely. So slope, if you remember, is the idea of how much we rise up and run, or we could also fall down and run. And the things to remember here is that a positive line, reading it left to right, will rise, and a negative line, reading it left to right, will fall. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, and the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now, what's special about the x-intercept is this is also the solution to the graph, or solution to the equation. Okay, domain is how far left to how far right. And range is how far down to how far up. And if you think about it, left is negative, right is positive, down is negative, up is positive. So it keeps us talking about these graphs in the same way. Okay, we're going to work at interval notation. And interval notation is a combination of parentheses or brackets and the left and the right, and arrows are infinite, so we're going to use the infinite sign. You learned in Algebra 1 to use that big R of all real numbers. Well, we're going to use interval notation this year, so the way that I would show domain is the far left is an arrow, so I would say left is negative infinity because it goes towards the negative, and how far right is an arrow, and that is infinity. So that would be the domain of this function. Now range is how far down. Well, the bottom of the graph is that same arrow, and down is negative, so negative infinity. And how far up is that arrow, and that would be positive infinity. So that would be the domain and the range in interval notation. So that is what we're going to work at this year. Okay, so the next area that we're going to talk about today on linear functions are their transformations. The first thing I want you to notice is that I have written in red y equals ax plus d. And you're used to seeing y equals mx plus b. Well, I just want to point out that the a and the m are in the same place, that number in front of x, and that the d and the b are in the same place, so that d is the y-intercept. We are going to be using the variables a, b, c, and d to talk about transformations all year. So we have to start shifting our focus and our thoughts on using A's and B's, or A, B, C's, and D's. Okay, so the first transformation is shifting it up. And hopefully you know that's the y-intercept. So that's when I shift it up, I'm going to add a number to the x. So an example of that would be y equals x plus 3. Now to shift down, I'm going to subtract a number from x. An example of that would be y equals x minus 5. Now the a value is our slope. So talking about slope, if I want a vertical stretch, I want to stretch it up and away from the x-axis, and that would make my slope larger than 1. So for an example, that would be y equals 2x. That's up 2 over 1 instead of up 1 over 1. If I have y equals 3x, that's up 3 over 1 instead of up 1 over 1. So I'm stretching it up and away quicker from the x-axis. And then a vertical compression would be a slope that is smaller than 1. An example of that would be y equals 1/2 x. So when we count on slope, that would be up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So I am pressing it or compressing it towards the x-axis. So a number that is less than 1 will make it a compression. Now what you have to separate is for reflection over the x-axis, we are going to make our slope negative. Y equals negative x. So instead of up and to the right, I go up and to the left. So when I have slopes like y equals negative 3x, that 3 and the negative are two different transformations. This is a reflection over the x-axis, and I shorten it by writing that way. And this is a vertical stretch. Two different transformations with that one number, negative 3. So you have to learn to separate the negative from the number because they're two different transformations. Now we're just going to go back over and remember how we started to graph these. Remember the 3, which is the d value, or y equals mx plus b, the y-intercept. It tells us to start off at the positive 3 on the y-axis. My slope is positive, so it means I'm going to go up and to the right. So from that y-intercept, I rise up 2, and remember all whole numbers have a 1 underneath, and I run 1. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And to go down, I would go down and to the left to keep that line looking negative. And that would be its graph of y equals 2x plus 3. Now the next one, I have g of x equals negative 1/2 x plus minus 5. So that negative 5 tells me to start down on the y-axis at negative 5. Since I'm negative, I'm going to rise up and go to the left. So I'm going to rise up 1 and run 2. If I go down, I'm going to go to the right 2. And there is its line. Okay, now we're going to convert these equations into slope-intercept form. Manipulating equations is going to be very important for this year, so you need to make sure you can do and remember how to do these from your Algebra 1 and hopefully some of your geometry year. So basically the biggest rule solving for y or putting it in slope-intercept form would be to move the x term to the other side of the equal sign and divide by what's in front of y. So the way I would do that, that's a positive 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x. And that's what eliminates it on the left-hand side. So I'm left with 7y equals negative 3x plus 14. Now we divide everything by what's in front of y. Y equals negative 3/7 x plus 2. Okay, the next one, I'm going to move that x to the other side. I'm going to subtract x. That eliminates it there on the left. I get negative 7y equals negative x minus 8. Now divide by what's in front of y, which is the number negative 6. Eliminates it there, so y equals. Now remember, it's understood 1 when I don't have a number in front of a variable. So negative 1 divided by negative 6 is positive 1/6x. Negative 8 divided by negative 6 is positive 4/3. Now remember, if you're not good at fractions or doing that type of division, you can rely on your calculator, but you need to make sure that you learn to do it and do it quickly. Okay, the next one, I'm going to subtract 1/2 x to both sides of the equation. Leaves me negative 3y equals negative 1/2 x plus 12. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. So y equals, again, not good with fractions. You have a calculator, but dividing by fractions is easy as pie. I flip the second one, so that would be negative 3/1. So now it's negative 1/3. And multiply, and that's 1/6x. And 2 divided by negative 3 is negative 2/3. And this last one, I'm subtracting x. I have negative 4y equals negative x minus 6. Divide everything by negative 4. So remember that understood 1, so negative 1 divided by negative 4 is positive 1/4 x, and negative 6 divided by negative 4 is positive 3/2. Okay, so the last concept is just learning that if you don't want to manipulate, there's times you don't have to. There's times that you can graph by using the x and y intercept. So to find the x-intercept, I just take the x portion and write that equation. To find the y-intercept, I take the y portion and set it equal, and solve each of these separately. Divide by 2, x equals 9. So an x-intercept is on the x-axis, so I would write that as 9, 0. Now the y-intercept, I solve this one, divide by 3, and that equals 6. Y-intercept is on the y-axis, and so the way that would be written as a point is 0, 6. All I have to do is connect those points, and I have a line graphed. Okay, the last one, same thing. 4x equals 8, and negative y equals 8. So now divide by 4 and x equals 2. The x-intercept is 2. That is 2, 0. And then divide by negative 1 and y equals negative 8. So that's down here at negative 8, and that's 0, negative 8. And now that has this graph on. Now I would only use this method when both numbers in front of x and y, those are called coefficients, both of those numbers will go into the value that it's equal to, which is called the constant.